every day it's can never get ahead.
Hi, Michael. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Oh, it looks like you're turning your video. Thank you. So I just want to confirm, procedurally speaking, we'll go through the same process as our last meeting, but if you can confirm for me your first and last name and student ID number, please.
Michael Newman, WA3145690. No, no, yes, 5690.
Great, thank you. And then before we proceed, I just wanted to confirm with you again verbally that you're okay with Vanessa DeBreer joining as your advocate. She'll be hearing and have access to confidential information if so.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let Vanessa in then before we do introductions. Hi, Vanessa. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi.
So Michael, just so you're aware, has told us verbally that he's okay with you being his advocate in this meeting today and for you having access to the confidential information that will be discussed here. So we're going to do introductions. So my name is Amy Coffey, and I serve as the Dean of Student Engagement and Wellness here at CCSF, and this is my colleague. Maria.
My name is Maria Salazar Colon. I am the Student Conduct Officer with the Office of Student Conduct and Discipline.
And then Vanessa, do you want to?
Yeah, I'm Vanessa DeBray. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I work at CCSF at the Student Health Services.
Thank you. And then again, Michael, I want to confirm, do you prefer to be called Michael by us today?
Michael.
Okay, thank you. So we are meeting today to discuss the report that we received that we sent you in writing. Within 10 business days of today, you're going to get an outcome notice, and that's going to be any final decision in this matter or next steps for this conduct process. There's a wide range of possible outcomes, anywhere from a warning or no finding, which would not go on your conduct record with the college, all the way up through a
Mm-hmm.
suspension or an expulsion. If you were
Mm.
issued a suspension or an expulsion, there is an appeals process for either of those, and you would get that in the outcome notification, those steps to take. Do you have any questions about the next steps or timelines?
No.
Okay. So we are meeting today, and again, this is what we sent you in writing. You were placed on immediate interim suspension due to your alleged behavior when you, it looks like on May 6th, entered the photo, or yeah, you entered the photography department office area and yelled at the person who you perceived had submitted a different code of conduct violation report about you. You were asked several times by the employee to leave the office. You were allegedly blocking her doorway and preventing her from leaving the office. And because you refused to comply with her request to leave the office area, she had to call campus police and you had to be escorted away from the photography department. So that's why we're meeting today. So now is your opportunity to share anything that you think is relevant to that report.
I never received that written notice.
I actually have our system confirms it. I can see that you retrieved this written notice on May 6th at 5:16 p.m. I'm happy to send it to you
It
again
was the
via email.
same one from before.
It's actually a separate case
No, it's
number.
not. It's the same one. I looked at it twice. It's the same exact report. Same exact case number. So I didn't receive any new notice.
I'll send it.
So
Sorry,
Amy, if you don't mind, it does reference the original case inside of it, but it is a new case since it's a new incident.
But it
So maybe
doesn't.
that's what you got
It
confused.
doesn't list any of the so-called claims. It's the same exact notice.
So
It's
I
not
read the
different.
notice. I read the notice and it has it has the same information, some of it from before, and then it has the new information in there because it talks about how you went to the chancellor's office too and refused to leave.
So I read the notice. Did not mention what you just said. Did not mention anything about the chancellor. Was the exact same thing as before. Nothing new.
Okay. We're not going
So
to debate with you
And
about it, so
when
let's
I
just
went
talk
to the
about it.
when I went to the well, I refused to talk about it because you sent me the wrong notice. Apparently.
we I have a system that gives us documentation of when you clicked on the notice. So I'm gonna screen share. You don't have to say anything in this meeting today. I want to be clear. This is your part of your due process to tell us anything that you think would be helpful for us to know before we make any determination. So again, no determination has been made. We simply want to hear from you about anything you think
I
is
need to ask
relevant.
a question first. What do you
Sure.
mean by I went to the chancellor's office and refused to leave? Because I asked to speak to the chancellor. I didn't refuse to leave. I was never told to leave.
So I was told by the one of the reporting parties that you were told that the chancellor is not available to help you at that very moment and that she would need to schedule an appointment for you and that you stood there in front of her and said that you demanded to speak to somebody immediately about this
Yes,
situation.
because I'm a student and I can request a meeting with the chancellor according to his or her time. And she did make that appointment, which you canceled, which I saw as against my due process because it's like you're trying to sabotage my academic career in every way possible. I've got false accusations without proof. I've got people lying and making said allegations, and nothing is being done. I've already made my separate report against Renee Tung. I've made a separate report, and because I went ahead and basically filed a report about you have a faculty member that is making false accusations against students. That is a very serious offense, and it can include criminal charges. That is a
So
lawsuit against your very school.
if I can respond to that, I just want to be clear, your due process right happens here at this meeting. Going to the chancellor's office, that's not part of the conduct process. And so we have a board policy and an administrative procedure that outlines how the college goes through a conduct process. And so I just want to be clear, meeting with the chancellor, whether or not you if he wants to take that meeting or not, that is not part of your due process. This is part of your due
I
process.
see. The reason why I wanted to speak to him is because I actually do feel discriminated against because there's nothing but women in this meeting, and a woman had made a complaint against me, so I wanted to talk to a man to get some type of fairness in it because I feel outnumbered here.
Well, let me tell you, if you think you're being discriminated against, there is a man you can talk to. His name is Tony Brown, and I'll send you that information. He handles all allegations of discrimination. So there's a separate process
Hmm.
again for that that does not include going to the chancellor's office,
You
just to
said
be clear.
okay. You said that you would send me some other information about something else last time. You never sent it.
Yeah, I didn't because I was going to send you the information to lodge a complaint. And before I was able to send you that information, I was notified that you had already filed a complaint. So you have found that information on your own.
Yeah, because I waited for you to do that, and since you didn't do it within the hour, I took action. I
Yeah, I was
had to
not able
find
to
a.
do it within
Oh,
the
King
hour.
Cop, if you don't mind, could we get into the allegations for the new case where that put him on interim suspension? I really don't want to go have this back and forth. Um, there's accusations made against us that we're all women here. I mean, you asked for your advocate to be here.
Yeah, yeah, I
So,
did. I did
and,
actually.
and then
But I'm
and
still
then
gonna
in
say
our world,
certain
could
things,
you
you
stop?
know.
See, let me tell you
So,
something, Michael.
so
You need to
do
stop
hey,
interrupting us.
hey!
Stop
Okay.
talking over us,
First of
Michael.
all,
Stop.
first of
Okay.
all, I will
We
end this
everybody.
meeting. I will end
You
this meeting if you do, if you
you
become
can't.
sensitive,
You
if you
can
get
end it.
angry. I will end this meeting.
You can. You could do that.
We're gonna take turns speaking, Michael. We're all gonna take turns speaking. You don't have to participate in this meeting. This is completely optional for you. But I just want to be clear that if you choose not to participate in this meeting, the college can still issue sanctions. And we can do that without you telling us what you think is relevant in this case. So I want to get back to the point. We I don't want to argue the logistics or the merits of the
You know
you
that
know
if you issue sanctions, even with this meeting, you're doing like illegal behavior because you have no proof of the allegation of me. The first case I'm talking about, you have no proof. Like the woman has no proof. She has no witnesses. You're going by hearsay. You're going by what she said, and she can say anything. You have to prove to me that I actually forcefully handed the camera. Are you saying I threw a camera at the attendant? Because that didn't happen.
what we talked about last time again is those were the allegations, right? So we had not made a decision in that matter, and in fact you still haven't gotten your outcome notification for that matter, because we recognize anyone can say anything about a
And you
situation.
believe them.
No, that's why
If
we
I
want.
was Asian or white or even Hispanic, you would think twice. But the fact that I am half black, I see this as racial discrimination and gender
If it
discrimination.
and
I'm sorry, but that's how I see it.
that's I don't want to argue whether or not you think that, and I will
Well, of
send
course you're
you
not. You're white.
the
You're
I
Caucasian. You would never want to argue. Y'all don't have to argue. You just do this
That's
stuff
that's
anyway.
inappropriate. That is
I
highly
You know what's
inappropriate.
inappropriate?
It's highly
Being accused
inappropriate
of
what you're
something you didn't
saying,
do. How about you do that with Rosa Parks? How about you try that? Be accused by a white
Michael.
man. How about you do that? Your
Michael,
race is known for being discriminated
you
against.
don't
I'm
know
half
what's
your
my race.
race.
You don't know my race. You don't
It's
know nothing
black.
about
It's
me.
black. I know
You don't
your
know my
race.
race.
Don't
Oh,
play
so you know
dumb with
that for a
me.
fact? You know that for a fact?
Yes.
You don't know my race.
Yes.
And you don't know what I
You're not
identify with.
Hispanic. You're not Asian. You're
You
clearly
are
black.
Okay,
you are
we're
out of
all,
line. You are
we're
out of line, Michael.
Michael, we're not here to
You need
talk
to shoot.
about
Look. I'm already
Michael.
getting highly agitated here. This is a sensitive matter, and you got a woman that's going to be a soul sister.
so
I done
Michael,
told her ass to calm down. I'm not going to say it again.
Michael, let's take a moment, okay? I know it's good that you realize you're agitated, but we all are here in this moment and we want you to have a platform to talk about whatever is relevant. And maybe I want to put this out there, maybe you being a student and continuing to be a student is a goal that you have that you might want to be able to talk about that here today. That's relevant, right? To this case. You want to continue to be a student. Do you feel like this is an opportunity? Can we change gears and
They're going to
have
have
you
to
have
listen.
an opportunity to tell us about your goals as a student
They're
and
going to
why?
have to listen. If I'm interrupted by the so-called disciplinary officer one more time, I'm into this meeting.
So
I'm trying to conduct myself,
Mhm.
and she wants to interject because she feels sensitive about certain things that I say. And I promise you, what I say most likely you're not gonna like, and you're just gonna have to get used to that. I'm gonna make
we're,
all kind of accusations
we will not
regarding.
allow personal
It's
attacks
not a
in this
personal
meeting.
attack.
So
It's an objective observation that I will state. As a half black, half white man, I am obligated to state it because this is a civil rights matter. I don't care about people being sensitive. If you're sensitive, you know how serious this is. And I'm glad to make people uncomfortable. I'm glad to make you uncomfortable because that's what's going to make you pay attention. Because I've been falsely accused as a colored man. I've been falsely accused. I came to California to get away from the racism that is my home state. I will not tolerate racial discrimination here from anybody. Not from your school staff, not from teachers, not from anybody. I am obligated to file a lawsuit based on discrimination if this goes negatively because you have no evidence of that claim of me with the camera. I don't even know why she would even state that.
So Tony Brown, like Amy mentioned, is someone that you can speak to about this. But I think in effort of time, let's get back to what Amy had mentioned. Like this is your opportunity to bring anything that's relevant to you continuing to be a student.
Mm-hmm.
So let's hear that. Tell us about what your student goals are. What are your goals? I know that that's been
I
impacted
want to get
by
the hold removed.
this incident.
I want the hold to be removed today so I can register for classes. I want to finish my current semester. My teacher said I didn't have to turn anything physically. She said I can do, upload digital, the photos, the JPEGs, which I'm fine with. Um, but my goal as a student is I plan on attending another meeting regarding the report I made against Renee. Because as a student, I don't feel comfortable with her being around because she's going to be allowed to make other reports. Like if you make her upset, if you say it's like you can't defend yourself. You can't argue with people without them going really upset and then calling the police and then making a report and doing this and this. When you may be arguing with students, but students they have that right to argue. That this is life, and yet people act like they don't know how to act. Renee has no, authority saying like you have to do this. She was never. Anyway, I just want to get back. I just want to get the hold lifted so that I can register for classes for next semester and continue to attend classes.
So I just want to reiterate, we'll have 10 days to give you the outcome of this. So that will tell you whether or not your hold will be lifted. So I am asking again, and this is the same request I made last time, is to please not come to campus and yell at anybody or bring this issue up. We're following the process. And I think that if you think that you want to file a complaint with our Title IX discrimination officer, you're encouraged to do that. If you think that you want to file a legal suit against the college, then you should pursue all avenues that you think are appropriate. But I do want to say that the issue at hand is if there's anything you want to say about the May 6th when you showed up to Renee's office and then to the chancellor's office and yelled at them.
I didn't yell. I did not yell at the
Okay.
chancellor. That's what I'm talking about. Who said that I yelled at the chancellor?
So we have the report that you were not following the directives. You went into Renee's office and you yelled at her about the hold being on your account. You demanded that she remove the hold and that you refused to leave when she asked you to
I
please
didn't
leave her
say a
office.
hold. She can't remove a hold. She didn't put the hold on there. And
Right. You
also,
blamed her for reporting you.
so you said I yelled at the chancellor.
You went to the chancellor's office after you spoke to Renee and you refused to leave, even though they told you that the chancellor was not available at that very moment
But
for you
she
to
didn't
leave.
tell me to leave. She didn't say
She,
that. She didn't say that verbally. She didn't tell me to leave. That was not her. She didn't tell me like she didn't say quote unquote we need you to leave. She didn't say anything about leaving.
okay, that's
So
important to this. That's exactly what we want you to be sharing with us is what happened that day. We're
I
here to hear
simply
your
just wanted to
perspective.
talk to the chancellor. That's it. And he wasn't there, but she scheduled an appointment. So I said, okay, I will go to that appointment. And there was no hostility whatsoever. I don't know who would make these accusations. That's what I'm talking about. You have faculty members who are making false allegations against students. And let me tell you this. If a person raises their voice at you, that does not equate to yelling. what I just did a few minutes ago definitely was yelling. As a matter of fact, I wanted you to hear my yelling because that's how loud I can get when I'm highly upset, which is very rational. Because I've seen people do similar things to other people. But me raising my voice is not yelling. So some people might mistake that because people just people in San Francisco are weird. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Did you raise your voice when you went to Renee's office
Of course I
or
did.
yell?
Of course I
You
did.
did.
Why wouldn't I? I tried to get her
Well,
to explain herself. She didn't want to because I caught her in a lie and I told her to her face, I know that you're lying because you have no proof. And you know what she said? There were witnesses that day that saw you throw the bag. And I said, what witnesses? Tell me what I did. She said, I'm not doing it. Because she has not, because she can't. She can't explain. She cannot elaborate on what happened because it didn't happen. She's not
well,
a very good liar.
what I want to add is that when somebody believes that you're yelling at them, like happened earlier, it makes me feel uh, afraid of what you're going to say or do. And I can tell you there was a witness that was reported that day, and I will not tell you that person's information.
Which day are we talking? Are we talking about April
The
the
day,
10th?
yes, the day that you allegedly threw the camera
So
back.
so so
And I'm not required to give you that
I know you're
information
not
for that
required. I
person's
know you're not
safety.
required, but that makes me think that either there was no witnesses, or if there was a witness, that witness is lying. It seems dishonest because the fact that you're not required to report the witness, what's the point of having a witness that anybody can throw that water around?
Right. So we
Dean
reached out.
Coffee, do you mind if I jump in here?
No.
Michael, when we met with you last time, regardless of witness to the first thing or not, let's put that aside. When we met with you the first time, we were very explicit on you not going back there and speaking to anybody about that. So you ignored that and you went there, and then now we're here today, right? Also, in the report, it states that the campus police um, told you to leave for the day and you refused to, and that's when you went to the chancellor's office. So
I had
once again,
class.
you received, once again, you ignored a directive,
No,
regardless if you
I
have
had
class.
class. He actually told me to go to class. He told me I could go to
Michael,
class.
so you yelling just a little while ago about how you don't want anybody to interrupt you,
Oh
but that's
God,
what
I'm
you keep
about to
doing
end this
to me.
call.
You keep interrupting.
Cause you keep throwing out lies. You keep spitting out lies.
Michael, whether it's a lie or not, I'm telling you what's in the report so then you can answer us back.
Did the police officer make that report
Police officer wrote that in the report.
when he told me to go to class? He said as long as the teacher does not kick you out, you can go to class, and
The
that's what I
report
did.
says, let me read to you, the report says that you were advised by the officer to leave campus for the day and not return until hearing from this office, meaning our office. You did not follow the officer's directives and instead you went to the chancellor's office and demanded immediate assistance in refusing to leave. So you were refusing to leave when the officers asked you to leave. That's the problem. You also went back to the library, right?
I'm sorry. What library?
Not the library, excuse me. Not the library. You also went back to the photo lab when we told you not to go there. We told you not to go to the photo lab. We told you not to go talk to anybody. We also explained to
You
you.
didn't say I couldn't go to the photo lab.
Yes, we
No, you
did.
didn't.
We we
Yes, that was
I
very
need to go
explicit.
there to print off my photos. That's a part of my assignment.
I
Michael,
specifically told you do not return and talk to anybody who you perceived put in the report about this situation. I said specifically you had sent several emails to Renee in the photography department, and I said, Michael, I need you to know that it's a whole separate code of conduct violation
Hmm.
to if you're perceived as harassing or intimidating somebody who's a witness in a disciplinary proceeding. I said that to you on our Zoom call when we spoke, and later that same day, you went right and did exactly what I asked you not to do, which is to confront the person who you think
Do y'all
told on you.
do you know what photo? First of all, what class was it that it's on the allegation? 81. It says photo 81. There is no photo 81. It's photo 51. Beginning photography, which I need to use their lab the photo lab in order to print my photos. That's a part of my assignment. I was working on my final assignment. So you cannot ask me to not go to a place that I need to do my assignment, because that is hindering my academic success. That is actively and intentionally hindering my academic success, which is exactly what Renee is doing. That
Michael,
right
the
there,
problem,
asking me to do that, that will literally cost you your job. You are hindering a
Michael,
student's success by demanding him to do certain actions to get him a low grade. It's like
so
saying
Mike,
don't attend class, don't show up for class. You get what I'm
so
saying?
Michael, we do have the authority to tell a student to stay away from a particular area if it's necessary. You did not go there for an assignment.
I did.
That's not.
I
That's not why you
did.
went. Well, then,
I
if you
had
went,
class that
Michael,
day.
once again, you're cutting me off. So you want respect, but you don't give it.
Do you understand my schedule? My
No, I
schedule.
don't, because
I had a class that day.
I don't know your schedule. But what
I
I'm
had
talking, what I'm,
okay.
we're
You know
talking
what?
about
You
your
know what? Don't
behavior.
say anything else. You just
You don't
ruined
tell
it
me
right
not
there.
to say anything
No,
else.
don't.
You don't tell me not to talk,
Don't.
Michael.
Because
You don't.
you're out of this.
You don't have that authority.
You don't
Sorry.
have my. You don't have authority too.
Michael.
You're at an office. You don't
Michael.
even come to class.
You
You don't even come. You don't
Mike-
have a physical
Michael.
location. You don't have a physical
You like
location.
to make threats.
Get
Michael,
off the
I'm
You
goddamn
demand
muting you.
class.
respect, but you don't give it.
No,
Michael,
I'm
you're
not
on
going to give it
mute.
to you.
Michael, you're on mute. I said I'm not going to have you yell at us. We are not going to have personal attacks about what you think, who we are, or our identities.
It would be fine. It would be fine.
You can unmute.
It would be fine if Maria would get off, because she's just going to keep instigating.
She's
Authority to tell
not.
me to
You're
get off
going
there.
to
Sorry.
shut the fuck up.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Thank you.
Stupid.
Michael,
Thank you.
this doesn't feel
Yeah, I
productive
know
any
it doesn't
longer.
feel. It doesn't. It doesn't feel right, because it's not. Because you're not actually trying to solve the matter. You're trying to argue. I'm trying to tell you what happened.
Okay.
But Maria
So, I think
keeps
we're done,
interrupting
Amy, with
and keeps
this.
giving me false
Michael,
evidence.
We're
She
done with
doesn't
this
know.
hearing.
Fuck
We're
you,
we're ending
bitch.
this.